Welcome to another beautiful day of the meditation challenge. This is session 2 of the day. This is day 25 of the 30-day meditation challenge, where I challenge myself to meditate 2 hours every day in order to become more successful. My life has improved so much, and I had a beautiful, interesting thought about how people, I just hate this. Whenever people say, oh, if you're a good person, then everyone is going to take advantage of you and you're going to lose so much. That's just such a bad way of thinking, because you are basically saying that being good means being gullible, easily fooled, stupid. No. it Whenever someone says to me that they don't like being good, they because the world takes advantage of good people, in my mind I go like, you just want an excuse to be an asshole, because you don't have a problem with being good. You have a perceptional problem about what it means to be good. What it means to be good is that your actions, your words, and your intentions have a positive impact on the world. That's all it is in my mind. It has nothing to do with what other people do to you. It has everything to do with what positive impact you have on the world. So the way it's structured is most of these people who say, look, I'm not good, people are just stupid and they don't really, everybody takes advantage of them, and the better you are and the more good you are, the more the world just takes advantage of you, and you always get the short end of the stick. And I go like, no, if that happens to you, you don't have a problem with being good. You have a problem with boundaries. You do not know what you're worth. You don't know when to say no. You don't know when to set healthy boundaries and be like, yo, I know you're trying to scam me. Don't. And you don't know when to get yourself out of a bad situation. And you see being good as making compromises, when being good is nothing to do with compromise, has nothing to do with compromise. It has more to do with the impact that you have on the world, not with compromises. You can still have a good impact on the world and have benefits as well. It doesn't have to mean, oh, I'm good, so that means everything bad is going to happen to me because it's a zero sum game. No, you can be good and have people do good for you. It's so stupid to think, to use that as an excuse, and people really believe in that. And I'm like, no, it's just a thing. You don't have boundaries. You do not understand how to really set boundaries and how to set yourself up for success instead of failure in relationships. How to really understand what triggers failure in your relationships with people. And if you take all of your interactions with people and you start to see the patterns, then it's going to be super easy to know and understand where you have to put those boundaries in order to not get hurt again, or to not give that person the keys to your house so that they steal everything that you have inside. It's like, it has nothing to do, that your outcomes rarely have anything to do with other people. Of course, there is bad luck, but most of the times it's your own fault. You either did not have the right boundaries, you did not have a way to filter out the people who are bad for you. We tend to be people who say that, oh, they're gullible, foolish, stupid. Those people usually just have a problem with understanding where to set boundaries and how to really set yourself up in order to succeed in relationships. I know I'm repeating myself, but most people just don't understand that you can safeguard yourself and still be a good person. You understand that being a good person has nothing to do with the results that you are getting. You are a good person because you want to be a good person. You're not a good person because you want to get something. The act itself is the reward. The fact that you know you are a good person is it itself a reward. And the only reward you need to be that kind of person. You don't need acclaims, you just need to do that thing that you want to do. And using the idea that good people lose, or good people don't get what they deserve, as an excuse to be an asshole and to do things that you would have never done, that's so bad. As in, use something else. Just say, look, if I'm 10% worse, I get 50% more. That's a deal I want to make. So be 10% more asshole. It's fine. But don't say good people are, it's bad to be a good person just because you decided to be 10% more asshole. And because you've noticed that being 10% more asshole, people treat you differently because you're on edge and they don't want to, out of politeness, they just don't want to fuck with you. So if you are an asshole and you start being an asshole, there are some benefits of not being a good person. People take you a bit more seriously because they're like, it's like a dog. When you scream at him, he's like, oh no. So, yeah, it comes with the territory, but you can be a good person and still be loud, be confident, be able to articulate and speak up for yourself. You don't need to be an asshole to do those things. You can respectfully just be who you are. It doesn't make you a bad person if you speak up. On the contrary, it might have, because that's the reason people don't sit around and think, what is a good person? What makes a good person? Because if they sit around and understand that and not take the society's way of thinking where a good person is the one who compromises, no, maybe a good person is someone who speaks up when no one else does. That's not really always the most intuitive idea about how to be a good person. But if it maximizes the good results in the world, then that means you are a good person because you've now had a positive impact on the world. So that's exactly what it is. You do not sacrifice the world for your own benefit, but you don't owe, as in, if you have more to win by being an asshole, let's put it in simpler words. If you have more to win by being an asshole and everyone else just doesn't benefit from that except you don't do that deal. That's what it means to be a good person. You put everybody else on the same level as you are having. You don't put them down, you don't put them up. Because there are certain people, especially when you think that These people who say things like, yeah, good people are always lose. Those people might have had the idea that everyone else was above them, and they would have put everybody else not on the same level but above them, so they had to sacrifice and do that and do this and impress and and compromise. So of course they have this bitter taste in their mouth after they've compromised so much. And usually in compromises nobody gets what they want. Nobody. So it's like so bad to just compromise. You don't get what you want because you've given something that you didn't want to give away. And the other person doesn't like it because probably they didn't even want it in the first place. They just got it because you were like, yeah, here, have this. And it's like, and they also feel the fact that you built resentment towards them because you sacrificed and you compromised. So it's a bad deal. Compromise is just a bad way of living. Don't. Just don't sacrifice. Don't compromise. Try to do, try to find ways where your interest and everyone else's interest who is in that deal is beneficial for everybody without anyone having resentment, bad emotions, and things like that. Of course, it takes more time. Of course, it takes more energy, but it's worth it because you then have great deals. Okay, enough blabbering. Let's set a timer. I do 1 hour and 3 minutes in case Sophie decides to eat some cables or do something like that. And the meditation starts now. And there you go. The meditation is over. You know, it's a good meditation when I get distracted by so many great ideas. I had this great idea to just make out of a canvas, like the wood part of a canvas, to make like thing that can sit. The tripod can sit on these two corners, and it would have a middle, and you can basically mount the tripod to the wall, because the tripod would just sit in these two corners and in this one, and it would be tied to the canvas, to the actual wood, and it can be mounted on the wall, like if you have a screw, or it can have a latch over here, so you can put it over like a desk, or over a door. So it's crazy, and I also crazy useful actually. And I also got an idea about how to make a more interesting desk, like, you know, those desks that used to slide. I have one like that, that you had a keyboard slide. Why not have these slides have an actual door, like it would be a cupboard, and then the cupboard would just open like that, so it gives you more leeway, and you have three different levels of that, and you can have a desk that is at different heights, and it also doubles as a cupboard, as a drawer. Actually, it's called a drawer. So the drawers are actually fold. The door of the drawer just folds down, and it becomes a desk, and it there are three drawers, and depending on which one you are using the most, it can become a standing desk, a lower desk, or you can have a double desk. You can put multiple things at the same time. It's interesting idea, quite an interesting idea. And I also got very distracted by the fact that I was thinking of the bottlenecks, and was thinking also of the limits that are imposed upon me by, for instance, the fact that the camera can overheat, or the fact that I have an editing SSD that only has 1 terabyte. And I was thinking of all these limits, and it's nice to hit those limits, but I was thinking of other limits that I don't hit. And it's like I was seeing efficiency problems there, because the machines can work all night while I sleep. And I was thinking, why? How much do I render per day? And I usually render about 3, maybe 4 hours. And usually it's done during the day, but I can basically do that during the night. And I was thinking then, well, I sleep about 8 hours, 8 hours and a half. So can we render for 8 hours, 8 hours and a half? And I was like, it's possible, but I would need about 8 hours of footage every day. And I was like, can we do 8 hours of footage every day? And I'm like, yeah, maybe. But, and then I was looking not at hardware limits, but at, let's just mention today was, I think it's 13. Let's see. Yeah, it's 13 of March 2024. This was day 25, session 2. Let's get out that out of the way. But I was thinking of the limits that I have. Like, why don't I film more? And the reason usually is because Sophie started to play with herself. And the reason usually is because I am state dependent. I believe that I need to be in a certain state in order to film videos. and that's not true at all. And but I still act as if it's true. I still do a holotropic meditation before I film in order to be more concise, more aware, more focused, and really manage my thinking in a way that produces quality output. And that really helps. Holotropic meditation really helps. But I was thinking of how to really bundle everything up and do 8 hours of footage every day. What would that take? Like, what kind of person would I have to be? What kind of limits would I have to get over in order to create at 8 hours of footage so that I can render at night 8 hours of footage every day? And how much editing time is that? How much? I was thinking of all of this and I got very, very distracted in this session. But it was a very interesting session in the sense that, yeah, it really, as I said in a previous session, you tend to become much more, you tend to think in much bigger terms when you start meditating. You see that everything can be achieved and it's possible. You start to become this person who just expands their consciousness and their capabilities, and you are allow yourself to dream bigger. Thank you for watching and see you tomorrow.